What's going on, everybody? Welcome to my RimWorld tips and tricks guide. This one is specifically focused on construction, so let's dive right in. Tip number one, a starter room. When I start a new colony, if it's a 1, 2, 3, or even 4-person size, I like to go with the 15 by 15 room to start. So I'll lay out my plans, then we go in, and I'm going to use my shapes tool over here. This is a mod I'll talk about later on towards the end of the video. And I'm going to place my walls. Then let's set down a door so our colonists can get in. And I'm going to also determine the middle of this right here and draw a line across with my wall. Then I'm going to, instead of going right up the middle here, I'm going to come over a couple and I'm going to draw a smaller room over here to the side. Now let's pick up these doors and go ahead and add those right there. Now we've got 3 different rooms. The largest one is going to be our stockpile room. So we can go ahead and set that up. The next size room up will be our production room, where we'll put our stove. And this is even a good little area for a barracks. So you're going to want to set down your sleeping spots up here in the corner for your colonists. But you can also fill it with more production as necessary. And you can even have your kitchen / dining room in the same area, and it won't make a difference to your colonists, at least not early on, while they have some mood buffs from their initial optimism. So once you've got that all laid out, you can focus on the third room, which is for prisoners. That's right, you're going to want a jail early on so you can start to recruit any pawns you capture. So you'll set those for prisoners, and you're also going to want some chairs and a table for them because they'll probably be here for a while. After that, you've just got to place your torches and maybe some temperature control units, whatever you've got. If you've got electricity, go for heaters. But this is a great starter setup just to get your colony off on the right foot. Tip number 2, knowing the difference between your walls. Here we've got granite, and this has the largest HP in the game, 510. Second is the limestone wall at 465. This is only good if you're on a map which doesn't have any granite. The third on the list is marble. It only comes at 360 HP, but it has an added bonus that it also offers 1 beauty per square. You can see which the other stone types just simply lack. Now, last but not least is the sandstone. It doesn't offer much in the way of hit points, but it doesn't take long to build. In fact, it's probably on par with the steel wall, but it offers the protection of stone from fire and other such elements. Tip number 3, terrain button, fertility button, and the roof button. Now the first one here let's talk about is the terrain visibility affordance. What this does when you turn it on, it looks like a little mountain down here in the bottom right hand corner. Turn this on and it switches the map so that you see certain colors come up. Now the orange here, these indicate swampy terrain on which you will not be able to build any kind of wall or structure. So that's a very important button to have ready when you're playing on a map such as the jungle. The next one is the fertility overlay. Now this will show you the areas of the map where you have basic fertility shown here in light green, a low fertility shown in orange, and a very nice high fertility shown in the dark green. And turn that off. We'll switch over to the third and last button here, the visibility of roofs. This one's extremely helpful when you want to determine if a roof has its full set or if it's missing a tiny little tile that you can't see. This button is great for that. It also helps you figure out underhead mountains. Now this light green color all around here is just a regular mountain, and insects will not spawn under this kind of a roof, even if you've mined it out of the rock, such as I've done here. But this tiny single tile here, which has a dark color to it, that is an overhead mountain, and it will spawn insects here anywhere that you've mined, which leaves behind this dark overhead mountain tile. And again, that's the toggle visibility on the roof. as you can see down in the bottom right. Tip number 4, the most efficient windmill positioning. As you can see, I've got a few windmills laid out here. Now, these first two are in a perfect zone. They're overlapping each other here, and this is the best way to lay out your windmills. I'll show you the dimensions are just like this. You don't want to have it so that your other windmill is inside the zone. You want them overlapping perfectly. Now we'll lay those down. And you can see now you just have to worry about any trees that are inside or roof tiles that are inside this rectangular area. One good tip is to go ahead and lay some growing zones down over it. You can, and this will force your colonists to come through here and cut on all the trees. Maybe plant potatoes. You can also lay floors over this whole area. And don't forget, if you'd really like to double up your power efficiency, you can put down some solar generators inside here, and they will not block the efficiency of your windmills. Tip number 5, nutrient dispenser placement. Now, in case you weren't aware, you can actually wall in your nutrient dispenser as long as you leave certain key areas uncovered. First, you'll want to have access to the one side so that you can place your hoppers, and I recommend just a single door right in the middle. Now your pawn can reach all 3 of these hoppers from this door. And it's very important not to forget to set your temperature to freezing point so all the meat or vegetation you put in your hoppers will stay fresh, and that's very easy to do in just this floor tile area, which is considered a room all by itself. Now the second tip is to make sure you leave a spot here. In fact, you can't build a spot in this dispenser square, which is perfect, but your pawns can still come in here, get a meal, and take it back. Now this is a great setup for your prison if you don't want to worry about feeding them meals constantly. Just set up a dispenser like this within the room, or you can have little individual dispenser rooms set up here and there about your colony, and people can come by, grab what they need, and go about their day. Tip number 6, the fancy fence post. Now I have to give credit to a YouTuber named adamvseverything for turning me on to this tip, and I'm going to link his wealth management guide down below in the description of this video, so check that out if this is a category that interests you. So with wealth management in mind, one thing you need to understand is that any raw resources you have laying around have a specific wealth value for each single item of resource. But when you turn those into a building structure of any kind, whether it's a wall or a fence post, it will only take on half of the normal resource value. So building things out of your extremely valuable resources is a great way of managing your wealth. Now the fence post is ideal for this because it only costs a single resource, so you can really min-max what you'd like to build with this particular structure, and it does add a beauty value to whatever room you place it in. So you can see the jade gives a plus 10 beauty, silver is plus 6, and the golden fence post is a plus 20 beauty. And you can see, once I unpause it here and let Maul get to work, it doesn't take very long at all to build the fence post, even out of a more valuable material. And it's going to add a significant amount of beauty while reducing your overall colony wealth. Tip number 7, wall in your explosives and other extremely valuable or volatile materials. Now you're familiar with the 15 by 15 size room, and it fits the trade beacon perfectly. Well, almost perfectly. As you can see over here on the sides, we're left with these 4 different areas that aren't covered and aren't being used by anything. So what I like to do is designate some stockpile zones for just a single item, such as my chem fuel or my luciferum, and I will build a small room around these so that I don't have to worry about anyone coming in and picking them up, even if I have it forbidden like this. Sometimes I get paranoid and I think, oh gosh, what happens if somebody snaps out and accidentally goes into a spree where they want to bash it, destroy, they go into a tantrum and start destroying things. That's no good. So I always utilize these little corners to wall in my explosives or other volatile materials. Well, that's it for the tips, but I do have a few mod recommendations that will help in your construction building. And the first one is called Replace Stuff. Now, this is a very straightforward mod. You can see I've got a 4 square of sandstone wall already built here. Under vanilla, you would need to deconstruct this if I wanted to replace it with something stronger like granite. But with Replace Stuff, I can simply click on top and it will order the blueprint placed directly over the pre-existing wall without me having to deconstruct it. The second mod I want to show you is called Smarter Construction, and this is a great one, just a little background mod. All it does is if your pawns are about to trap themselves inside of a wall, this will actually help teleport them directly out. Now let's watch this in action here. This guy's about to build himself into the wall, so pay close attention as we speed it up just slightly. Now we're going to watch Jimenez here teleport directly out of the wall. You saw it happen here, folks. That's the Smarter Construction mod. Simply prevents your pawns from building themselves into corners. The last mod I have to show off today is called Designator Shapes. And if you look over here on the left side of my screen, you'll see this small window. It says Shapes on it. If you click and hold it down, you can move it around to wherever you want on your screen. But let's look at the main menu. First, you'll see the line. By clicking on that, it allows you to build a diagonal building any direction you want along that axis. The second one and the third and the fourth ones here you'll see are different shapes. Each one you have an open shape and a closed shape. There you go. And again, that's true for the circle as well. You can get an open circle anywhere you want, any size just about. After that, let me open it back up. You'll notice we've got a paint can down here. Select this and you can fill in any shape you want with any material you want. And I should point out that this also works for the planning button. So you don't have to build your buildings exactly as I am here. You can plan them out first with the various shapes that you can draw on the map. Now let's go to the last one we're going to look at, the ellipsis. When you click on this, you get 2 of the grow light and 2 of the trading posts. The trading beacons, open and closed. The first one, you'll get a perfectly circular closed room. Let's see that with our walls. Right there, closed off room. Or you can go for the open room, and this fits the grow lamp perfectly right there in the center. Same is true for the trading beacon. There's a closed trading beacon, and here's the open trading beacon room. And that's the last mod I've got to show you guys. I'm going to put the link in the description for all 3 of the mods I've mentioned today.